Hello everyone, and a warm welcome from Visaman UK. Hope you all are doing well. Now, through this video, I'm gonna provide you some general advice on building better quality CVs for the UK job market. Now, the information provided in the video would help you in refining your CVs, and then inevitably it will lead to simplifying your job search, because the odds of you getting an interview would increase. I mean, that is the purpose of this exercise. That's the purpose of this video anyway, and I hope it turns out to be helpful for you. Now, what were the reasons for coming up with this video? What was the purpose of this video? Now, considering the fact that this hasn't got a direct correlation with visas in general. I mean, the channel is for visa guidance, for tier 2 guidance, but an important aspect of the whole exercise of getting a sponsorship, getting a job, etc., is making sure that your CV is good and your CV is shortlisted. And although this is not like a sure shot formula for ensuring that you get more interviews or your CV is shortlisted, it aims to provide you that general advice. And also because of the sheer number of requests that I've been receiving from people, my subscribers and people who know me now, on general CV advice. A lot of people have been sending me their CVs and have been asking for advice. Because obviously I know the UK job market quite well, so I will be able to provide you some advice on the same. So it was getting a bit difficult for me to actually catch up and answer these requests individually, so I thought it would be better to actually come up with a video. I will still try and help people out as and when possible. And helping people refine their CVs will actually help them not just for the UK job market, but it's sort of like a lifetime investment, because throughout your professional career you're going to apply to various roles, and a nice, simple, refined CV will go a long way in helping you in your entire career, I would say. Now, some things to remember. Your CV represents you. So until you actually get a personal interview, until you actually get to speak to your employer through the phone or through a personal interview, whatever, your CV is the only thing that your CV is the only thing they know about you, basically. So one of the most important things to remember, and this is a mistake that everybody does, everybody keeps speaking, harping on their CVs about what they would like to accomplish, but and don't actually lay a lot of emphasis on the fact that you actually need to project to them that you are a useful contribution. A CV should be more about telling them what you can offer to them, how you will be a profitable proposition for them, and not what you want from them. I mean, everybody wants a successful career, aim to reach a blah 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 managerial position, etc., etc., in a few years, but that is not what they are interested to know through a CV anyway. They'll ask all of those questions in the interview, but not through the CV. It's also very important to remember that you should be using various different CV design techniques. Don't just rely on this video. It'll be a good guide for you nevertheless, but take advice from experts as and when possible, if you find suitable. And also, extremely important to know, extremely important, is the fact that you should actually maintain different versions of your CV for different types of job roles that you're applying for. For instance, if you're applying for marketing and business development and sales, slightly related, but if you're targeting a specific industry and you're applying for all of these competencies, make sure that each type of job role that you're applying for has a CV for the types of roles that you're applying for in that job role. For instance, a particular CV, for the example that I use, a particular CV for all marketing roles that you apply for, and then a particular CV for all of the business development roles that you're applying for. So don't just blindly go about applying to positions by using a generic CV. Employers are smart enough to know all of that these days, so it becomes very important that you customize CVs every single time. I will highlight a few customization points later on the video, but it is important to have several different CVs handy. Most importantly, yes indeed, this is something that you will know through the course of this video, you need to highlight specific facts and achievements in your CV. Now, where do you highlight this? You will come to know, but your specific facts and achievements will create your unique selling point, unique selling proposition. So that will actually make sure that you stand out from the crowd of those thousands of applicants, hundreds of applicants, or dozens of applicants, whatever it is, whatever be the context, the situation. But your CV will stand out because you're actually proving a point that this is what I've achieved for other people and this is what I can achieve for you. So very important. And now what's going to happen here? There is a template that I've provided in the video. We're going to dwell on the template through the course of the video. It is for a simple CV basically, and this whole video will focus on developing a simple CV. Now I believe in simplicity, and all the CVs that I've come across, all the successful CVs that I've come across in the various organizations, in the various people that I've recruited, etc., they've all been simple CVs. But there will be situations wherein you might actually need to develop graphical CVs. Maybe you're applying for a role of senior graphical designer, senior web designer, senior graphics designer, developer, whatever, and you might actually think that it's a better idea to have a graphical sort of CV. You can find these interesting examples of CVs all over the World Wide Web, but go ahead and do that. But for this video, I'm focusing on simple, no-nonsense CVs, which can be understood by one and all in terms of employers. Yes, now to the template provided. I have actually provided you a link to a document which is downloadable. So I suggest what you do is you download that document. It's a very simple CV template wherein I've actually categorized all the various sections that I want you to populate for this exercise, and yeah, just make sure that you fill it up with all of your relevant details, and then view this video first, understand the concepts that we go through, download the template and go through it a second time as per my recommendation, and then that is when you would actually know what we're talking about. So make use of that CV template provided and feel free to distribute it to people you know. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it'll help one and all. Right. So how would you structure a CV? In general, I always start with a title and an overview of skills. You'll know about it again through the example. Then follow it up with job experience. The most important criteria is job experience. You might be very well qualified, highly educated, but unless you're applying for a sort of an entry-level role, your job experience is going to be more important than anything else. Follow that up with educational qualifications, and then follow that up with all the relevant details that you want to provide to the employer. But job experience always takes priority. Now, let us go through the template that I've provided, because what I aim to do is explain the concepts, explain my ideas to you through the template. So, as we see in the template, the first section has the name of the candidate. Well, I like the name of the candidate in block capital letters, and then get rid of all of your address and contact details right on the top. No need to mention them anywhere else or all over the CV. just mention them right on the top. Your employer will know what to do to get in touch with you. And if you're smart enough, what you could also do in a very clever, very systematic, very structured way, also mention your LinkedIn profile link right on the top with the contact details. If it's looking quite cluttered, if you don't have a customized URL for LinkedIn, for instance, and it's looking very cluttered, get rid of it. But it is a good idea, because there are various employers who are tech savvy and who would actually like all that information right on their fingertips, instead of Googling your name and then finding out about your LinkedIn profile. Then you want to mention your prospective job title. Now this is the job title. This is the job that you're applying for. For instance, sales manager, or customer retention executive, whatever. Your prospective job title should come there, because that's the job that you think you're most eligible for. That's what you seem to, you want to seem to project that you were doing, and that's what your competency lies in. So now after that, it's very important. This next section, this is where a lot of people get it all wrong, because a lot of people, I've seen a lot of career statements like, yeah, get employment in a reputed organization and get a career in blah blah blah, IT project management, whatever. No, not interesting. That is very old school. That is not relevant these days. This is a very smart age that we're living in. So you have to be a lot more specific than that. So if your job title, if the job title that you're applying for, if your prospective job title is mechanical engineering design, for instance, then your career statement should mention, get a career in mechanical engineering design in your organization. Not like in your organization, in XYZ Limited, and leading up to a management discipline in the same management position in the same organization. So you have to structure what I'm trying to tell here, because I don't have a precise example running in my mind at the moment for some reason. So what I'm trying to say here is that you want to be very specific. Don't harp on about getting yourself a career in a reputed organization, etc., etc. Be specific. Be more specific. Be more precise. This is what I want. This is why I'm here. I'm the best proposition for you. That's what you want to highlight. So no generic career statements. Be very specific is what I'd say. And then again, a very important thing that a lot of people, very important aspect that a lot of people miss is highlighting your major skills and competencies, and that too in bullet points. This is quite important, because you might have a lot of skills. For instance, a lot of project managers in IT, etc., will have a lot of skills under their belt, a lot of IT proficiencies, softwares that they understand, coding languages that they've learned. It will be great if you could mention all of those, and even your intangible assets like leadership skills, customer retention, proven track record of customer retention, whatever else, mention all of these competencies here. And more important than all of those soft skills is obviously mentioning any core competencies that you have, like SAP development or product design, or any specific graphical interface design softwares like Tableau. So any of the other core competencies, any of the other softwares that you could quickly mention all of them here, and feel free to use up as much space as you want, as you're comfortable with in this section. Don't think too much about space. Now coming to the most important section, which is section 2, which is where you highlight your professional experience. Now this is something that I leave to your discretion. If you think you've got plenty of experience that you want to quickly summarize to your employer, your prospective employer, what you could do is produce a tabular chart of the company, the job title, and the duration for which you held the role. Just to make sure. This is especially relevant when you are applying to the perfect career role in terms of hierarchy. So if for instance you've been a project trainee, and then you've been a project executive, and then you've been a project manager, and then you're applying for a senior project manager, it'll be absolutely brilliant if your job title shows career progression in the relevant industry, in the relevant job specification that you're applying for. So you get my drift. So it's very important in those situations, but it's optional if you ask me. And what is not optional, what is critical, is detailed job experience. Now this is what will make or break the CV, to be honest. You've got to mention the name of the company, the location, the duration of the role, and then the job title, and then follow that up with the outline of the role. I also like to actually introduce a very brief description, just one line or two if you want, describing the company that you were with. So blah blah blah, XYZ was a company dealing with manufacturing, engineering seals, for instance, mechanical seals, whatever else. So it gives the employer a basic idea. Even if the company is unknown, the employer will get an idea. This is the type of company my candidate has worked for this amount of time. And then an outline of the role, extremely important, obviously. And then, now this is what is most important, in my opinion, because employers get thousands of CVs on a very regular basis. They get overwhelmed with the amount of CVs that are received. So this is how you create your USP, by being extremely specific in your bullet points. And what section am I talking about? I'm actually talking about the section of key achievements, factual achievements in bullet points. Okay, so make sure that under each of the job type, under each of the professional experience that you're highlighting, highlight your contributions to the team, to the organization. That will create an impact. That will define you as a person who brings about the change, who brings about performance, who brings about a difference in the organization and contributes. Everyone wants contributors. So make sure you mention as specifically as possible, how you contributed and increased. For instance, as an example, I've said here, increase, in the efficiency of the customer satisfaction monitoring system by X% in 2009. An example, but it can be anything. And it will be a great exercise to just go through your past experiences and think about the things you've contributed. Everyone has contributed. I'm pretty sure if you think hard, you can come up with these facts. Just a bit of retrospective thinking. Just think hard about how you've contributed, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like 100% accurate. You have to make sure that you present it well. Now this person, for example, who's maybe added that his contribution has resulted in the increase in the efficiency of the customer satisfaction monitoring system by X%. Now he would be a contributing factor for the increase in the efficiency of the system, but it might not be for that X%. That is a well presented fact that can't be debated, basically. So make sure that obviously it's important that if you've not been associated with a project at all, just mentioning the project, that will be an outright lie. No, don't lie on your CV. Never lie on your CV, but make sure the facts are presented well. Okay, facts are presented well, and extremely specific, precise, bullet point facts will make or break the CV. That will make sure that you are the person who are selected, you are the person who are shortlisted. Your CV is highlighted and is remembered by the employer. Okay, now after the most important section, the third section could cover education, very important obviously. And then if you hold any certifications, IT certifications or leadership development, whatever else, it's right here that you could mention it right at the end basically. And then language proficiency always plays an important role in the UK. A lot of people find it, a lot of organizations find it a real bonus if candidates are fluent, for instance, in Mandarin or any other Asian languages or European languages as well. So if you have any of those language proficiencies, do mention them here. And then in this day and age, something that is very important as well, especially in the Western world, is technical or IT proficiency, because your IT proficiency is a bonus. It always is a positive factor. It's always a plus point, irrespective of your job type. It will be great for the employer to know that you can handle your computing, you can handle, you've got IT skills. So mention your IT proficiency there, and again, be specific. Don't come up with vague statements like, yeah, good with Microsoft Word. No, just mention Word 2012 or whatever else, just mention those in bullet points. Word 2012, Windows, Mac, etc., C, C++, C hash, Java, HTML, whatever else if you know them. So make sure you mention your IT proficiencies, and then all of the additional relevant details can be mentioned later. For instance, if you have a license, if you're willing to relocate, your notice period in your current organization, etc. Now, for visa candidates, for people who require sponsorship, I would recommend that you don't actually mention about your visa sponsorship requirements. If you're already in the UK, it still makes no sense to actually highlight it or mention it on the CV, because a lot of employers in the early stages of screening resumes will actually think of this as a negative factor. They'll say that, okay, we've got 5 candidates who don't seem to mention any visa or sponsorship requirements, but we've got this one candidate who needs some sort of a sponsorship. So, well, why waste our time? We don't know if we can or can't do it now. So you will be removed from the list straight away. Now these are brutal facts. I'm not here to sugarcoat facts for you, to be honest. So a lot of what is said in this video is just quite straightforward and just relevant and very important information, I would say. Not sugar-coated, just directly mentioned straightforward. So yeah, don't mention about sponsorship. If you're applying from overseas, they will kind of know that, okay, this is a person who will require some sort of sponsorship. The intent of not mentioning as well is that, if nothing else, if you're in the UK, you at least will be called for the interview. You at least will be going through the initial stages, and then if they find out later, after they've actually liked you, they've liked your personality, you stand a much better chance of actually getting that sponsorship. So no need to mention about all of these requirements. And I guess then you've got a basic idea of how to actually structure the CV, and feel free to actually make use of the template provided, I would say, and it will help you in structuring your CV. It will help you in creating that basic initial CV if you're struggling with it. Okay, so that, I'm afraid, is the end of this video, because I've covered most things here, and whatever else you want covered, whatever else that you have in your mind by the way of questions, you can feel free to use the comment sections. As you know, if you've visited my channel, if you have been visiting my channel on a regular basis, you know that I answer most of my comments. At least I try to. Okay, thank you very much for listening in, and yes, if you like this content, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share this content. Please do share my videos on a regular basis, because that is the only thing that actually motivates me, to produce more content, to actually serve people and to bring about a positive change to their lives, hopefully. So thank you very much, continue supporting me, and I will see you in the next video.